Hi, I'm Sara. We have already set our intentions and our prayers for this session, so enjoy and learn.
How about Sara and her journey?
I'm not sure exactly what you're
Sara has
getting at.
been incarnated 4 times, I think, is the number we are given. How is her learning going?
Oh,
She probably doesn't have a bucket load of learning to do, but
in a sense she does, but not the same bucket.
yeah, I know. But how is she progressing
And she's
on
progressing, but
this?
right now more slowly than you, actually, than you are.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
I
It
know there's
is what
nothing
it
wrong
is.
with it. It's just that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
You had a lot of catching up to do in some senses,
Yeah,
and
a
in other
lot.
senses, you've gone past where she is right
But
now.
Sara's been in this world, so to speak, for 50, 55 years. Sensing other things.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Me,
Yeah.
no. So I can understand that. Previously, you stated that most of the ETs want us, humankind, to raise our frequency so we can join the Galactic Federation. What about those that do not want us to do this? What is their hang up?
What is their hang-up? There's a multitude of hang-ups, as you stated. There are ETs out there who want to exploit humankind, want to exploit Gaia, who are not that overly friendly like the ETs that really are helping and want to help and look forward to humanity joining that federation, as you called it. But there have been ETs who have elected not to join the federation because they just are a little more exclusive, I could say. They're not as eager to embrace all these other ones. Not that they have any issues with any of them. They're just a more self-involved. That's not even giving them fair description there, but yeah, there aren't very many ETs who know about Gaia and humanity and and aren't the friendliest, shall we say. But there are many more who do want to help, want to welcome humanity and humans into their federation and with all its wonders and glory, and welcome them with open arms. And then there are those who just aren't interested in that sort of expansion, which is their prerogative.
Okay. That got me thinking about the Voyager probe that we sent out into space. Basically giving whoever intercepts it a roadmap back to planet Earth. Will those ever cause any issues?
Well, they already have with some radicals here on Earth.
No, I meant with aliens.
But no, mostly because there haven't been very many who have intercepted those.
Have any?
A couple.
Have they intercepted them, then released them again, or just fly by?
Well,
take a look?
intercepted them enough to know what they were doing, what they were sent out for.
Oh, their intention, so to
Their
speak.
purpose. Yeah.
So in other words, they scanned them, so to speak.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But they did glean the information, and were aware that there were humans who felt that that was inviting all the wrong kinds. But any of those wrong kinds, I don't think any of them intercepted the Voyager. But the idea that there are a few, relatively speaking, a few humans who think that wasn't a good idea because it was giving a roadmap to that exploitation kind of a thing. But those beings who feel that way about Earth were already here before Voyager probes went out. And by that time, the entities who wanted to help humanity and Gaia were already here as well, and wouldn't have allowed it to happen that way, wouldn't have allowed it to be misused.
Very good, thank you.
So
That not only answered my question, also put me at ease.
you were concerned about that.
Yes, I was. If Gaia is the most beautiful planet in the universe, does that mean that most of the planets in the universe are stark?
I wouldn't say stark, they're just not quite as diverse, but they all have their own type and sort of beauty.
Can you expand on some of them, please?
No, because I can't. We cannot do them justice.
Well,
It's like the difference between here on Earth, a grub, let's say, a little worm, and the butterfly. It might turn, oh, that's a caterpillar. Okay. Not exactly beautiful in the eyes of most humans, but the butterfly that comes out of it is. That was not a very good.
From that, I gather that if you explain what a world is like, it does not mean it's not beautiful to the inhabitants.
Well, but when the day should come where humans who want to can travel and see these places, and I say travel, I guess it's still a form of travel, and see these other places, they're the kinds of humans who would appreciate whatever they see as beautiful for what it is and for the inhabitants.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I mean, most humans are discovering that, oh, you have a phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
And that is
Universal.
That's universal, yes.
Yeah. So you got me thinking, based on your last answer. You mentioned that, well, that's travel of a sorts. What do you mean by, well, that's kind of traveling?
There are so many different methods of travel.
So you just talk about the physical traveling, or is that what you're talking about? Us physically traveling, or us energetically traveling, or?
Whichever way you want to. When the time comes.
Us astrally traveling?
Astral travel is still pretty much for humans, it's still pretty much located on Earth.
Yeah, low energy area.
Other beings astrally travel to their own place, their own planet.
But can a higher energy being travel to a different planet?
Well, a higher energy being isn't traveling astrally anyway, so yes.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of walked into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Considering space travel by Earthlings, are we the first inhabitants of Earth that have ventured beyond our planet
No.
natively?
Natively? What is
Meaning, not including ETs, not going with ETs,
that? Oh,
but on our own designed ships.
no. There were civilizations who wanted to do that. They never quite got it down.
Never got the technology right.
Right. And
Okay.
ETs weren't going to just hand it to them.
Yeah,
So,
'cause we've been doing this for since the 40s in one form or another.
attempting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's when the journey started. It was in the 40s. At least,
In this era
yeah,
of
in this era,
civilization.
yes.
Yeah. Looking through your questions.
No, I am. It's not scrolling, so I'm gonna actually have to read through to see where I am, because these are not numbered this time, and they should be numbered, so I know exactly where I was. Since we all are part of the Supreme Being, does that mean we all have the same abilities in our spirit bodies?
Technically speaking, yeah.
Okay. That's what I expected as an answer.
I mean, we were created. We exist, therefore we are love. We have the God spark, as
Yeah.
some people call it, in us. And it's not just a spark. It's in every part of our being.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me, because of her body as well.
Yeah.
Human.
It's in every part of consciousness.
Yeah. And everything is energy. Source is energy. It sources energy. All that is God, Allah, whatever you want to call him. It is that energy that made each of us. Well, I shouldn't say made, because that gives the impression of taking a bit of energy here and a bit here and then forming it, patting it, frying it, whatever. But it's just we are all part and parcel of the whole, and the whole is within us, each individual.
Mm-hmm.
Not just on Earth, but in every
Right.
planet, in every realm, in every
Portion of existence.
that sums it up. Yep.
8 more questions, by the way.
Oh,
Back in session 6, Thane said that germs on this world are created by emotional thought. Please expand on that, please.
germs?
Yes.
Well, everything is created by emotional thought. So I guess that would have to be true. although I don't know how in history that would have played out necessarily.
Can you touch base with Thane and find out what he is referring to?
Thane has been moved along, shall we say.
Oh,
He is not sufficiently vibrational, but he was necessary at the time.
okay.
He helped Sara to
Learn and prepare for the next,
yeah,
just like you guys are doing.
yes. And so he is now part of something else, but it's not like, because we are all energetic and all connected, I could try to figure out what he was talking about. But in essence, that is true. Each of you humans create with emotional thoughts, and you're not even aware of it. A lot of your own personal illnesses and tragedies come from that. And I know that's not going to go down well with some of your listeners, viewers, but it is true. And there will be those who will argue and say, well, I wasn't emotional until I saw that. Well, but then there's no time, so it all happens now. And anyway, yeah. But germs, I believe the word has a negative connotation. And when you think about it, the collective agreed for certain things, including Earth, Gaia, with viruses, bacteria,
Fungi.
yeah, fungi, thank you. That was an excellent. All these things have their place, and they're good, if not abused and misused. But somewhere along the line, humans had to learn that not all bacteria are good, in this case, so hence germs. But it's not the germs' fault. It's not the people's fault who thought about it and it came to be. It was also part of humanity's path as a whole. And as I said, bacteria existed, but it had to have its negative side, shall we say. Bacteria that could be harmful, some of it very harmful, but it had its place in the scheme of things until humanity started to bloom, grow, take over the planet. And of course, the proximity of all these people helps all kinds of germs propagate. Did I use the right word?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. That was a tweak on my thinking that corrected the assumptions I was making or having. So thank you. That explanation made sense and showed me the difference, the nuances of difference in understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads me to another question, which is not on this list. Underneath the Antarctic, a couple 100 meters deep, or maybe even further, there is a warm lake that has microbes in it. will those microbes have any effect on human population? That's the fear that a lot of people have. The way I look at it, if it does, it'll just be like COVID-19.
That's sort of where I was going to approach it, as these microbes are billions of years old.
Yeah.
And they might have an effect, could very well have an effect, a deleterious effect on humanity, but maybe not humanity. Maybe plant life, maybe certain animals, or maybe all of the above.
Depends whether or not their genome is part of ours already. If it is part of ours, then chances are it won't really hurt us, because our bodies are already building antibodies against it. That's just my way of thinking, based on stuff I've read and my understanding.
I know, but those microbes might not necessarily be bacteria,
I know.
and that's what antibodies
That is true.
fight. And even if it were, the antibodies you have may not. It doesn't matter if it's...
Yeah. Because antibodies are generated when needed.
Right. And humanity as a whole has not experienced these microbes. We don't believe so. But what if there are current microbes on the earth and in the air and wherever the heck that are related to these ancient microbes? So it may not be as devastating as humans think.
Yeah.
Or it may be just devastating enough to allow Gaia more time to heal herself.
And that also poses the same concern and question that many, many people have stated about traveling to Mars.
I don't think there's much left on Mars that can harm
There isn't, but
traveling.
knowing what mankind does with things, they may try to resurrect some old, dead bacteria, and, it's just not the way to do things.
There's always that. That is one of the things that kind of hampers the growth of humanity.
Yeah, it is.
Spiritually. If they handle it in a spiritual manner, it could be different. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, they're not spiritual. They're not. I can't say, well, I did say generally, but there are enlightened scientists, but you're not going to find them experimenting with things like that.
No. Because